What if the things that haunt you, that one strange phobia, that sudden intense connection with a stranger, or that inexplicable deep sorrow didn't actually belong to this life? What if they were just echoes, faint reverberations from a life you've lived before, now trapped in the hidden corners of your soul? For most of us, the idea of reincarnation is a philosophical concept, a comforting whisper about the cyclical nature of existence. But for a growing number of people, it's a terrifying, tangible reality, a set of deeply buried memories that, once unearthed, possess the power to radically redefine their present. Tonight, we delve into the world of past life regression, the controversial yet profound therapy that claims to unlock these secrets. We explore the shocking truths and unresolved issues that sleep just beneath the surface of our consciousness, waiting for the right moment to surface. Meet Sarah, a successful architect from Seattle. By all accounts, she lived a tranquil, privileged life, yet she carried a secret terror, an overwhelming, irrational fear of deep, open water, thalassophobia. She couldn't even look at a picture of the ocean without panic setting in. Doctors called it an anxiety disorder. Sarah called it a life sentence. What troubled her even more was a specific, crescent-shaped birthmark on her lower left abdomen. It looked almost like a faded scar, a detail she'd dismissed until she stumbled upon the work of Dr. Ian Stevenson, whose research catalogued thousands of cases of children who claimed to remember past lives, often linking their birthmarks to fatal wounds. Driven by desperation, Sarah sought out a certified past life regression therapist. The environment was calm, the voice of the therapist gentle, guiding her deeper into a hypnotic state. As the therapist counted backwards, Sarah's mind didn't just drift, it plunged. She was no longer Sarah, the architect. She was now Elias, a young deckhand on a wooden fishing trawler in the North Atlantic in the 1890s. The air was cold and wet, the deck slick with brine. Elias's life was harsh, defined by storm and survival. The regression continued, vivid and raw, leading inexorably to the final moments. A sudden, catastrophic storm, a wave taller than the mast, and the shattering impact of a splintered mast hitting his side, the exact location of her birthmark. She felt the sudden agonizing compression in her lungs, the icy shock of the water, and the terror of drowning, alone and lost at sea. Sarah awoke sobbing, her body aching, yet feeling a strange sense of completion. The trauma had been resolved. She hadn't been afraid of water in this life. She had been carrying the haunted memory of Elias's death. Over the next year, the phobia receded. The echo was finally silenced. Of course, we must address the fundamental question: is this reality, or is it pure fabrication? Many in the scientific community, particularly psychologists, remain highly skeptical. They argue that past life regression is merely a form of highly suggestible therapy. Under hypnosis, the human mind is adept at creating elaborate false memories, a phenomenon known as confabulation, often drawing on cultural beliefs, books read, or movies watched to satisfy the hypnotist's suggestions. They classify the memories not as real historical records, but as believed-in imaginings. This division is vital, but the stories themselves, they continue to challenge the most rigid of rational minds. Cases like Sarah's bridge the gap between spiritual belief and tangible evidence. The academic study of reincarnation was pioneered by Dr. Ian Stevenson, a Canadian-American psychiatrist who dedicated his life to rigorously documenting cases where young children spontaneously recalled detailed memories of previous lives. Stevenson's methodology was simple but groundbreaking. He would investigate the child's claims, sometimes traveling across continents to interview the families of the deceased person, often decades after their death. His most compelling evidence rested on two pillars: birthmarks and unexplained proficiencies. He documented children with birth defects or scars that matched the fatal wounds of the personality they claimed to be. In one astonishing case, a boy in India accurately recalled the life of a man who died of a shotgun blast to the head. The boy was born with two corresponding holes in his skull, marks that modern medicine could not explain. This research, summarized in works like Reincarnation and Biology, presents a challenge to materialist science. It suggests that consciousness, or the soul, carries specific, detailed information, not just vague feelings, but verifiable data from one life to the next. Not all past life connections manifest as trauma or scars. Sometimes they present themselves as crippling, unresolved issues in our closest relationships, what spiritual traditions often call karmic debt. Take the case of Alex and Maria. They were deeply in love, but their relationship was a constant cycle of intense passion followed by explosive, irrational conflict. The arguments always revolved around one theme: profound, visceral feelings of betrayal and mistrust, despite neither having cheated in their current life. During a joint regression session, the shocking truth was revealed. Hundreds of years ago, in a small European village, Alex was a powerful local lord, and Maria was his servant. They had a forbidden affair, but Alex, fearing exposure and ruin, heartlessly sacrificed Maria, leaving her to take the blame for a crime she didn't commit. She died heartbroken, consumed by the feeling of ultimate betrayal. The regression didn't just explain the conflict, it was the conflict. Maria's current soul was still reacting to the centuries-old abandonment. Alex's guilt, buried deep in his subconscious, manifested as self-sabotage and distance. This isn't just about history, it's about healing. by understanding the root of the trauma, by realizing that the betrayal happened long ago and was not a threat in the present, they were able to forgive the past personality of their partner. The karmic debt was recognized, allowing their current relationship to finally move forward, free of the old spectral chains. But the hidden corners of past lives are not all dark. They also hold forgotten treasures, unexplained gifts, and hidden proficiencies that seem to emerge spontaneously. Imagine Daniel, a 40-year-old accountant who, after a simple meditation exercise, felt an overwhelming urge to pick up a brush. He had never painted before, yet he began to create stunningly detailed portraits, utilizing complex techniques that would normally take decades to master. His style was distinctly Renaissance, almost Italian. The regression revealed him as Niccolò, an apprentice painter in Florence during the 15th century. He saw the cramped studio, the smell of turpentine, the specific way Niccolò ground his pigments. The talent wasn't learned, it was recalled. These cases suggest a profound possibility that the skills we painstakingly acquire in one lifetime are not lost at death, but are stored as profound memory patterns within the soul, ready to be reactivated. That spontaneous talent you possess, it might not be a fluke, it could be a legacy from your past self. If these memories exist, why don't we all remember? The prevailing theory suggests that the veil of forgetting, the natural amnesia between lives, is a protective mechanism. It allows the soul to focus on the lessons of the current incarnation without the overwhelming baggage of the past. However, certain trigger points can pierce this veil. First, emotional trauma, an experience that perfectly mirrors a past death or extreme suffering, can crack the subconscious, allowing the old memory to flood in, like Sarah's thalassophobia. Second, a place or an object. Visiting a past home, battlefield, or seeing a specific artifact can act as a powerful anchor. Some people experience a sudden, overwhelming sense of déjà vu, knowing exactly what is around the corner in a city they've never visited. Third, the hypnotic state. Regression therapy simply uses a focused, deeply relaxed state to bypass the conscious, critical mind and speak directly to the vast repository of the subconscious soul memory. The ultimate goal of exploring these hidden corners is not just historical curiosity, it is about healing and empowerment. Our past lives are not meant to burden us, they are meant to serve as a map. When we understand why we fear, why we struggle in a relationship, or where that sudden talent comes from, we stop fighting symptoms and start treating the cause, the unresolved issues of the soul. Every fear is a lesson unlearned. Every intense connection is a bond unbroken. By looking back, we gain the crucial perspective needed to finally move forward, to let go of old betrayals, and to embrace the full, untapped potential stored within us. If these mysteries intrigue you, hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the unexplained. And tell us in the comments, do you have a phobia or a talent you can't explain? What echo is your soul holding? The answer might not just change your past, it could transform your future.